Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 224th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. As you will see straight from the beginning, this has been fought not on the usual flat, featureless maps that we often fight on. This has been fought on the Nordic Woodlands map. And the first team member is Brotherhood member Killer B. He's called himself Venom in this game, but it is Brotherhood member Killer B. Just like to draw your attention to his army here. He has 15 infantry units and 2 auxiliary archers there, but only 3 cavalry. So it'll be interesting to see if that number of infantry will make up for the lack of cavalry as the battle unfolds. Should be an interesting one to watch there. The next teammate is Brotherhood member Kendi. Now, if you remember, we saw Kendi in a battle that was fought about 7 or 8 years ago, last Saturday, when I put the last battle on. And you could see how aggressive he was and how attacking his tactics are. So he's just come back from a 3-year break away from RTW, and I think this is his second battle that he's fought since he's been back from a 3-year break. So it'll be interesting to see if he's still attacked minded as he was all those years ago. And our third teammate is Brotherhood member Cal, who's also bought the Rome Scipio faction. And then our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander. Now, well, as you watch this battle, you'll be able to see that our team are obviously the blue Scipii army. You know, at a glance, at any time during the battle, you'll be able to see what our team is doing in the melee there, if you like. So you wait till you see the other team. This should be a great battle for you to watch, and I hope you enjoy it. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Lion Dwarf, who has bought the Rome Giulio faction. And if you look at his formation, it's something like a checkerboard formation there, which is an actual formation that the Roman troops did use in battle. So it'll be interesting to see how well that formation does. Their second teammate is Brotherhood member Uther, who has also bought the Julii faction there. Just draw your attention there to one particular unit he's bringing, which is the auxiliary unit there, light infantry. But with those spears, I think they've got an advantage against cavalry there. Their third teammate, if we can get through the trees, is Brotherhood member Lando. I call him, he calls himself Lando now, but I know him as Brotherhood member Turbo. That was the original name that he used all those years ago, but a lot of you will know him as Brotherhood member Lando. And he's also bought the Rome Giulio faction. I like his formation of cavalry there, and also I see he's bought 3 archer units. If you notice here, if you look at his army, can you see that he's kind of split his army into 2? He's got a mini army at the front there. 5 units there on that middle mini army, and at the back there you can see that he's got maybe his major army there, the bigger army. So it'll be interesting to see how he uses that during the course of the battle. And then our fourth teammate is IOW Esrax, who's also bought the Rome Giulio faction. So as you can see here, the enemy team are the red Julii Rome. And as you saw earlier, ours are the blue Scipii Rome. So during the course of the battle, you'll be able to see easily what's actually happening. At this very early stage of the battle here, I just thought I'd show you both teams forming up here. As you can see, Kendi and Killer B are moving forward. You can see I'm coming over from the far flank there, from the far left flank over to this right flank, and you can see that the enemy team are doing the same. Everybody's moving over to this side of the battlefield there. Should be interesting tactical hard-hitting game, I'm thinking here, because both Killer and Kendi are attacking aggressive players. Let's see what happens next. At this very early stage of the battle here, you can see that Kendi once again is out at the front of the Brotherhood team there. So as I say, after a 3-year break from RTW, he still looks to me like he's still got those same attacking aggressive tactics in mind there. As I say, there's a general disposition of our team. If you notice here that Killer B has bought 2 units of archers there that he's keeping in close formation. So obviously with those archers in close formation, they kind of have more penetration with their arrows against the enemy troops. As I said, both Killer and Kendi were always aggressive attacking players here, so to have them both side by side on this right flank and right centre, this is where I'm guessing that the fireworks, if you like, could start off here. Remember what we've always said about Uther using his old school cavalry general as an aggressive, if you like, attacking and provocative unit there. If you notice there, some of, I think, Cal's units were throwing pilers at him. Well, that unit moves so fast, it tends to avoid piler hits. So new players watching this, if you've got a general running around in front of you, don't attempt to piler them, because you'll just waste your pilers. If you notice, Uther's still got his full cavalry complement there. Right, can you notice that Kendi is moving forward there, and bang! You see Uther saw an advantage there to hit open order piler shield units there and charge his cavalry in. Nice aggressive move there by Uther. But if you notice, as I say, Kendi's still got those aggressive attacking tendencies here as he's moving his army forward. As I said in last week's battle there, if ever you wanted to bet money on who was going to lead an attack in the Brotherhood team, Kendi would be your man. As you can see there, he is leading the Brotherhood attack. If you notice here, Killer's moving his army over there to Kendi's right flank to get close to Kendi there for to need support at all. And I think here comes Kendi's cavalry here as it charges forward, and bang into that forward Julia unit there that is now routed. Nice attacking cavalry move there by Kendi. But if you notice, the Julia infantry are throwing lots of pilers in as well, so my guess is that probably Kendi did suffer some casualties there with his cavalry from those piler hits. Right, if you notice that Esrax has moved his army up forward there towards Killer B's army there, but Kendi is still out in the front there, still attacking I think it's Cal's Julia army in front of him there. Lots of pilot exchanging going on there. Loads and loads of pilots there being exchanged by the two armies there. If you notice there, Esrax just thrown two of his cavalry units in there in an angled attack onto some of Kendi's forward fighting units there. Nice tactical surgical cavalry hit there by Esrax. Didn't rout any of the units there, but I think he probably caused a lot of casualties. Okay, can you see two of the Scipii cavalry units there are charging in, and bang, as all that cavalry charges through. But if you notice that the Juliard cavalry wisely pulled back from that double hit there from the Scipii cavalry. But that was some powerful cavalry charge going in there. If that Juliard cavalry had hung about, I think a lot of them would have possibly routed. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second here. As you can see, Esrax has split his cavalry up. He hasn't got them in one group. And you can see here on this right flank, things are a little bit quiet so far. But in the right centre here, you can see that Kendi's attacking. If you notice that Killer B and Kendi's army have kind of blended there, which is quite a good move really, because if either of them comes under pressure, then they can actually send units easily to support each other. Moving over to our left centre here, you can see that Cal is facing Uther's army there within the trees. And over on the far left, you can see that Lion Dwarf is facing my army there. And if you look in the woods, can you see Lion Dwarf's probably got 5 or 6 cavalry units hidden in those woods, ready to bring out when he feels best there. So as I say, not a lot going on the left flank or left centre at the moment. It all seems to be kicking off on the right flank and the right centre, as we thought it might have done. Okay, let's see what's going to happen next. I see that Killer has sent a couple of infantry units forward there, attacking Esrax's forward piler shield units there. But as I say, you can see that Kendi's and Killer B's armies have kind of merged almost there, and that's quite a good tactic because, as I say, if either of them comes under pressure, it's easy to support each other there. Right, if you notice, there's a couple of Esrax's cavalry out to the right, which Killer has noticed and is using his 2 archer units to fire arrow them. And lots of aggressive cavalry hits going in. Just hit, stop. Let's just pause the game for a second, just show you Esrax's formation. Now can you see that Esrax has got a wide formation here rather than a formation in depth? And that's kind of like old formations. I remember years ago we used to use a lot of wide formations. They're quite good for stopping you being flanked, but if you look, you're very thin in the middle, and cavalry hits can often penetrate right through those wide but thin formations. So I think that's why a lot of us changed to deeper formations from these wide units. But as I say, it's kind of like an old-fashioned formation there. Right, if you notice here, can you see, I think it's Kendi's cavalry once again charging in. Bang, as that cavalry hits those forward units there and penetrates on through there. I notice he just stopped the cavalry there. It stopped his cavalry there once it got it routed that one unit. But if you notice, Esrax has counter-attacked with his cavalry at this time as well. Nice counter-attack there by Esrax. But all the time, killers, archers in that tight, close formation are firing fire arrows into that cavalry. Meanwhile, over in the right centre here, you can see that Kendi is still aggressively attacking Cal's army, and Uther's moved some units over to support Cal there. Nice bit of teamwork there by Uther. Sorry, to support Turbo Lando there. Nice teamwork, as I said, by Uther there, moving over to support his teammate. Let's say there's a general overview of the battle as it stands at the moment. As you can see on this right flank, there's not a lot going on at the moment. It all seems to be kind of kicking off in that right centre area there. This may be a pivotal part of the battle here. Whoever wins in this particular area may well go on to win the main battle there. Right, if you notice, there's a double cavalry hit going in. Once again, Cal and Kendi charging their cavalry in, and bang, as that cavalry strikes home. Nice aggressive attacking cavalry attacks there by Cal and Kendi. If you notice there, the Julii cavalry are now counter-attacking, and there's some Julii infantry that are also counter-attacking from the rear there. As I say, I think this right centre area could be the deciding part of this battle here. If you notice, I'm sending my cavalry in from the left flank. I'm charging my cavalry through. My allies engaged troops there straight into the Julii ranks. My cavalry charges in. And my guess is that Julii cavalry that has just pulled back have now rallied and now will counterattack. There you go. And Lando, or Turbo as we call him, is counterattacking with his Julii cavalry. I'm now in the process of turning my Scipii cavalry round and pulling back. Just pause again for a second. As I say, I think that this area here, as you can see, is the most contested on the battlefield at the moment, and reinforcements have been sent over by both teams here to kind of shore up this particular area. So as I say, it could be a pivotal part of the battle there. Over here on the flank, on this right flank here, you can see there's a bit of skirmishing going on, but no major activity. As I say here, you can see Uther in the woods there. He's been sending units across to help in that area. And Cal is facing Uther's army here, and he sent units over to that right centre as well to try and back up Kendi. But meanwhile, over on the left flank here, you can see that Lion Dwarf and myself are still facing each other, and Lion Dwarf still got his 5 or 6 cavalry units hiding in the woods there, ready to pull out when ready, which I have to be ready for there, because with my cavalry away, it could be a problem if he brings that cavalry out. As you see, I'm just pulling my cavalry back from the cavalry charge I put in the centre there. Can you see a lot of the Julii units in that right centre area? Cavalry units are pulling back, have been routed there. And my guess is that they'll probably rally as they get further away from the fray, and then you'll be able to use them again. Over here on the right flank, can you see that Killer's bringing in a couple of cavalry units here to charge into these Julii units. Several Scipii units are starting to rout in that right centre area there. But as I say, because Killer and Kendi's armies kind of merged there, Killer's been able to send some reinforcements over to that area. Now on this right flank here, it looks like our Scipii teammates here could be getting a slight advantage here. Although there are reinforcements of infantry and cavalry coming over from the enemy team, this right flank does look a little bit vulnerable for the Julii team there. Right, you can see Killers discharges cavalry into that Julii infantry there on this right flank. And if you notice that Cal is charging his cavalry in as well. If you notice now, I'm moving my cavalry over to this right flank, and I'm going to charge my cavalry in as well, because I think this is an opportunity here. We could smash the enemy right flank here, or our right flank here. We could, if we can do that, that'll give us a big advantage on this battlefield here. If you notice, we've got loads of cavalry and infantry charging in on our right flank here, and routing a lot of those Julii units that are there. If you notice here that the Julii cavalry are attacking, I think it's Killer's general there, but on this far right flank here, it looks like we've routed most of the units. Let's just pause the game for a second to take stock. Let's say here on the right here, we've managed to rout most of the Julii units here, but they are making a counter attack, if you like, on the right centre area here. So it looks like we've done okay there, but they are counter-attacking there. In this the right centre area where Kendi was fighting, if you notice, Kendi hasn't got a lot of units left where he's been so aggressively attacking the enemy in front of him there. But if you notice that the dead are really compacted in that area where the fighting's been so intense. Here in the left centre, you can see that Cal is facing Uther's army. But if you notice here over on the left flank, can you see that Lion Dwarf is all of a sudden become aggressive and attacking, and is really pushing forward his units into my forward units here in, as I say, an aggressive attacking tactic here. Maybe they could see that their flank is broken on the other side, and what Lion Dwarf is thinking here is if he puts enough pressure on this flank, he could break our left flank here. Bearing in mind that my cavalry is away, helping my teammates trying to break that right flank. I've lost my cavalry protection at the moment over there on that right flank. So if Lion brings his cavalry out, my left flank of my infantry will be exposed to being hit by that cavalry. So I need to get my cavalry back over to this flank as soon as I can, or my infantry might be routed here on this flank. As I said, you could see that Lion Dwarf brought his cavalry over to this flank in wedge formation for penetration to charge into the right of my, into the left of my infantry formation there. I'm bringing my cavalry over as fast as I can because I can see the danger. Also, he's bringing infantry around that flank as well. And here comes the cavalry hit. Bang, as that Julii cavalry goes in. Now luckily I've managed to bring over my battle damaged cavalry that I've got left, and I'm going to counter attack that cavalry hit. And bang, as that cavalry goes in. And that is one kind of cavalry hits there from both cavalry there. That is really impact there. You can see a lot of my Scipii units are starting to rout. Let's just pause the game for a second here. As you see here, Lion Dwarf is really aggressively attacking me now, trying to rout my army as he's seen the flank of his team taken on the other flank there. Now if Uther starts running his infantry up here and attacks me on the other flank there, the chances are I'm probably going to be routed. If you notice, there's a bit of a gap there between Kendi's army and Cal, who are still fighting there in that right centre area, but there is a gap between my allies' army and mine. If you notice there, see, there's a bit of a gap there between us. So unless they get reinforcements over to me soon, if Uther attacks, then there's a good chance that our left flank could fold here. Luckily, several of my units have got experienced stripes on, so I'm hoping they're going to hold. But with the ferocity of the attack that the enemy are putting in there, then I think it's pretty touch and go at the moment. As you can see there, my cavalry is still battling, but if you notice, the units that are routing are my Scipii units at the moment. So I've still got my cavalry battling in there. I don't want to pull them back yet. Just want to try and keep the pressure off my infantry as much as I can at this stage of the battle. Right, if you notice, I'm now decided I've done the most that I can with my cavalry. If you notice that my allies now are bringing reinforcements over, seeing the danger. If you notice, Uther's now moving his infantry forward, attacking my infantry formation from the other side now.
Only frightened rabbits running from our men.
Right, let's just pause the game for a second here. So as you can see, Cal's moved some of his infantry units over, and he's bought some of his cavalry as well. Right, if you notice here, I've got my general and an eagle unit to give my units morale. But if you also notice, as I said, some of my units have got a stripe on, so they got gold attack, gold defense, and an experience stripe, and that's what keeps them fighting so long. Plus, as I said, with the eagle unit and general unit morale bonus as well. So, because I think if my infantry had just been all gold there with that experience stripe, I think with that hit that came in from the cavalry and the pressure from the infantry, a lot more of my units would have routed. So that's why my army has been able to hold there. But I'm really glad to see Cal is bringing over reinforcements now to shore up our left flank here, because now I'm being attacked by Uther as well as Lion Dwarf. I need a lot of support here from my allies. As you can see, Uther's really pushing in, really trying to aggressively attack my infantry from the other side there. But Kendi, Cal and Killer are taking their infantry round, attacking Uther's other units down in the trees there. But as you can see at the moment, looking at the red enemy team and our blue team here, it is very, very evenly matched at the moment. Okay, can you see cavalry, Uther's cavalry charging in, and bang, as that Julii cavalry hits. That is one heck of a hit. If you notice, I'm counter-attacking with very battle damaged cavalry here. You can see Lion Dwarf is attacking with his Julii cavalry as well. That is one heck of a cavalry melee going on there. Infantry, cavalry, all being thrown in there. Maybe whoever wins on this left flank, well, I think from what I can see of the battle now, whoever wins on this left flank is going to go on to win the overall battle. But if you can see here, I think if anything, the Julii team seem to be more numerous than our team at this particular part of the battle here. Very, very touch and go here all the time. As you can see, the Julii team still aggressively attacking. Let's just pause the game for a second to take stock of exactly what's happening. As you can see here, the Julii team is being extremely aggressive here, attacking here on the left flank, trying to break our left flank here. If you notice that Lion Dwarf has got an eagle unit stood behind his infantry, giving them general unit morale there. And in the trees you can see that Uther's army is still fighting with Kendi's units, and I think some of Cal's units there. So it's really touch and go in the trees and over on this left flank in general. And if you notice that Uther's positioned his general there in a nice position there, giving general morale bonus to all his fighting troops in that area. So that's a nice experienced use of his general there. Right, if you notice, just draw your attention here to two of Killer's archer units here in close tight formation, meaning that their arrows do more penetrating because they're concentrated more. And if you notice, both those units are shooting fire arrows into the flank and the rear of the enemy Julii infantry there. And make no mistake, those fire arrows are really lowering the morale of that Julii infantry, and will be doing a lot of damage there, causing casualties and lowering the morale. Nice use of archers there by Killer. But if you see, the numerical advantage here on this particular part of the battlefield is definitely the Julii, red Julii, I think. But if you look down in the trees, I think there's a lot of Julii units starting to rout. But as I say, at the moment it's very touch and go, I think. Right, can you see that the enemy have got two battle damaged cavalry units in behind us, and they're just going to charge in. And bang, as those two battle damaged units hit. Now I thought we were going to see some of our units rout then, because our units would be tired, they've been fighting for a long time. Let's just pause the game for a second. As I say here, you can see that Uther and Lion Dwarf here are really still fighting, attacking aggressively. And it's still really much up in the air here, I think, which way this battle is going to go. If you look at the numbers here on both sides, still looks pretty close to me, and it still could go either way. Who do you think will win this battle? Veterans watching this, which way do you reckon it's going to go here? Because it is very, very close. As you can see, I can see loads and loads of those fire arrows from Killer going into the back and flank of those July infantry. That'd be really affecting their morale. Right, you can see Cal's charging his cavalry in there. And bang, as Cal charges those cavalry in. Wouldn't surprise me if I saw some of those July units start to rout now. But amazingly, they've managed to hold even after that cavalry hit there, and those units are going to be tired. If you notice, the July archers are firing fire arrows into our Scipio troops as well from just over by the trees. Wouldn't surprise me, a Lion Dwarf really, I mean, he's been attacking all right. Can you see here, he's really pushing his infantry forward. He's really, can you see how those infantry are really pushing through my ranks there and Cal's ranks, and now they've forced their way through. That was really aggressive attacking there by Lion Dwarf. If you see that Cal has thrown in some cavalry to try and counter that that bulge that they've pushed through there. But this battle's still really up in the air at the moment here, as you can see. And if you look at the map here, I think that the July team might have a slight slope advantage here. Now they've broken through. I think if you can look at the ground sideways there, right, my general has just been routed. So, and if you look, I've hardly got any of my units left in this battle now. There's hardly any of them left. So, with my general routing as well, the ones that I have got left, their morale will be dropping significantly now. So,
your gallant general has fallen and caused his troops much heartache.
I can still see Scipio units routing at this stage of the battle. See, the enemy have still got 2 of their generals left, giving that general morale bonus. And you can see that Cal, with battle damaged cavalry charging at this stage, could really make the difference. And bang, as that cavalry hits. Right, now this could start a chain rout there, because most of those July forces will be tired, or if not exhausted, because they've been fighting for so long. Their morale will be low, and as you can see here, they're all starting to chain rout then.
Gods be praised! The enemy general is dead.
Whoa, that was some intense kind of battle there.
Victory by the decree of fate, perhaps, but victory.
And I would think myself that this is going to be a very close. Oh, there you go. So first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in this battle there. A really intense battle. As you can see, as we thought there, it was a close victory. And I think if this game showed very close, then I think that's what it would have been. Very close victory there. As I say, right up to the end almost, it could have gone either way. Just draw your attention to Lion Dwarf's got the highest kills in the game. Newer players to RTW, it just goes to show that having the highest kills in the game doesn't necessarily mean that you're in the winning team. Obviously it usually does, but it doesn't always. So nice kills there by Lion Dwarf. He did extremely well there on that flank. And I think most of his kills were from my army, because I think I only had about 2 or 3 infantry units left at the end of that battle. So nice aggressive attack in there by Lion Dwarf, and with Uther backing him up as well. But well done to Esrax, Lando, also known as Turbo, Uther and Lion Dwarf. Really well played, guys. That was a great battle. And really well done to Cal, Kendi and Killer B. Some really great teamwork there. Really well done, guys. I thought it was a great battle to watch, and I hope all of you watching this battle enjoyed this battle too. Let's say it was an easy one to watch, with one team being all blue and one team being all red. Just at a glance at the battlefield there, you can see exactly which team is doing what on the battlefield at one time there. So let's say it was a close victory, and I hope you all enjoyed watching it. And it's Spartan Commander saying, look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.